What's up guys, Sheldon back with another review, and today we're looking at the Super Action Statues Star Platinum, technically Star Platinum the World, from Jojo's Bizarre Adventure Part 4. Alright, so in case you're not a fan of Jojo and don't follow, this is the actual second version of Star Platinum. I know that the original figure, right here, has 3 versions, but they're all just recolors, and this is actually the, like, quote-unquote actual second version. Anyway, enough about that though. Let's take a look at the box really quickly right here. So here you go, some of the poses you can put them in. Pretty cool right here. Really nice purple and blue Harlequin pattern and gradient. We have, right here you can see that it comes with 2 heads, a few of the hands, a display stand. We have some box art right here, box window, more box art, and a bunch of Japanese that I can't read. Okay, let's take a look at the accessories though. So here we go. Here's a nice little visual of the stuff he comes with right here. So pretty cool. He comes with a pointing hand with both sides, or pointing hands for both. Yeah, pointing hands for both sides. Kind of these relaxed hands, and we have these unique hands, which we'll take a closer look at. Alright, so here we go. If you take a look at the pointing hand right here, get that to focus. Fantastic. Alright, so very nicely done. The studs right here painted pretty nicely, all things considered. And here is the gripping hand right here. It's kind of interesting though that the pointing hand has them separated while this hand has them all close together. So that's just something that maybe it's because if your hand is into a fist, it's like stretched out in the glove. Who knows? And then for this hand, we have just a more relaxed, straight index finger hand right here. I'm not really sure why it's on the left hand. And then for another unique hand, we have this tighter gripping hand, and that is for this piece of wood right here. And this is actually a plot significant accessory. So he's fighting an enemy in the manga, and it's heat-seeking, so he takes this plank of wood and he like rubs the floor with it to create a fire to lure the enemy away. So that's a pretty funny touch, in my opinion. And then he comes with, finally, this screaming or yelling face, which is pretty nicely done. I like that purple and blue look. Pretty clean separation between the 2 colors right here. Very clean lines down the nose. And the eyes, if I can get that to focus. Very sharply done, so that's pretty nice. Even the nice little gold on the chin and forehead, and a lot of dry brushing in the hair. Something that is interesting about this figure, by the way, is the plastic is a lot softer in certain parts. So the hair, there's a lot of give right here. And especially in the hands, actually. So a lot of the Super Action statue figures, the hands are kind of tight, but these are pretty flexible. So let me see if I can show you. So yeah, you can do that pretty easily. Just something to note here. Alright. And of course he comes with the 2 fists that come out of the box. And again, interesting, they're all separated right here when he's making a fist and when he's pointing. So I guess fist hands have these separated studs, but the other hands don't? Oh, actually, I never even noticed that. Oh wait, hold up. Oh my god. The right hand has them separated and the left hand has them together. What? Oh my god. Hold on. Am I finding this out for the first time? Okay, well, these hands don't have it. But some of them do. Interesting. I'm gonna have to go back and see why that is. That's a cool find. Anyway, enough of all that jibber jabber. Let me give you a height measurement, though. So, with his feet slightly apart, I'll get them as close as possible together. Star Platinum stands about 17 centimeters, and that comes out to about 6.5, I believe. A little over 6.5 inches, so pretty tall. And of course, what review would this be if I didn't put him next to its user, Jotaro, and next to the original right here. Well, original design, I should say. Alright, so he stands like an entire head above Jotaro. He's pretty big, but about the same size as the original design, so there you go. I can see that the proportions are a little different between these two right here. So I think I'll do maybe a comparison video sometime in the future, so I'm not going to not linger on that for too much in this video. Alright. So, pretty good size for a super action statue. Let's take a look at the articulation right here. So the head is on that hinged ball peg right here, so pretty good. And then the neck is a single ball joint, I believe. So here it is, side to side. You do get the full swivel, of course, and you can get him to look down pretty far, right into a scarf, like he's puking, or you can make him go look up pretty decent too. My head happens to be very loose, so I believe that's probably just a manufacturer thing, so I don't know, it's just something to be wary about. It's kind of annoying, wish it would be a little tighter, but it doesn't just pop off randomly, so it's mostly if I try to flex it, it'll pop off easily. Anyway, the shoulders are hinged, and they are separate, so they are actually on a peg as well. So we got this ball hinge right here with this peg sticking out, so you can rotate it around if you want, but I mean you're not going to bring it forward though that much, so you do get a little bit of movement right here. And then for the shoulder, we actually have a butterfly joint. So going forward, it's not so much. Going back, you do get one click, so it's like 3 clicks right here. So back, middle, and forward ideally. Let me see if this side has it. Okay, so it does. So pretty decent going forward, pretty decent going back. For the shoulders, we have a hinge, so it goes about 90 degrees right here. And of course, you get the full swivel. The shoulder pads do get in the way a little bit, though, despite it moving up. And then you do have a bicep swivel right here, full 360. Double jointed elbows, way better than 90 degrees. Get a nice little acute angle right here. And then it is hinged, or not hinged, but pegged into the bicep, into the forearm, so you do get a swivel at the elbow or in the forearm if you'd like. Elbow pad does make it a little hard though. And then for the wrist, standard for this line, we have that ball hinge right here, so you get a swivel and you get some nice rotation. Okay. For the waist or ab, we have a single ball joint right here, so you good rotation right here. As you can see, here it is going forward, here it is going back, and here is straight up and down. So let me see if I can show you just the top right there. So not bad. And then as you can see at the bottom right here, we just have this hinged right here. So pretty decent range of motion. So when you combine them, you get a pretty decent crunch going forward. And then back, it's all right. One gripe that I do have though, and you can probably see it staring at you in the face right now though, is that there's a huge gap between the bottom of, I guess, just these two muscles right here. So again, it's good range of motion, and I do like that it's sculpted, but it just looks pretty ugly, I gotta say. If you go like that, you can see the joint right here. And so the waist is just a swivel. Yeah, and you can see where that connects, so that's a bummer. What is nice though, I gotta say, is how they painted the hip joint right here. And speaking of hips, it is that ball hinge right here. Soft plastic right here. This one's a little harder, but this one's pretty soft. But the way that it is sculpted and laid out, the hinge lets you get the full splits. So that's very, very nice. And then you get the full range of motion right here. Going forward, you can actually bring it all the way around. No problem. And then you do get a thigh swivel right here. You get double jointed knees, so really far. Another gripe I have though is how the top of the knee is cut up so far, so you can get him kind of pigeon-legged. I wonder why they cut it up so far though. I'm curious. I feel like if this joint was a little higher up, we wouldn't have this problem. So it's not a big deal. I could only see it being a problem if the joint becomes loose and this starts falling over this way. Anyway, enough about that. And then finally, for the ankles, we have, going back, oh, not bad. Not bad at all. And then going forward, it's kind of limited, and you do get a pretty clean toe hinge here. And then for the ankle rocker, not much because the side of the boots are going to impede. Let me see if I can show you though. That's about as much as you're going to get out of it. Alright, so in terms of paint and sculpt, it is a lot brighter than the original. But, you know, personal preference, I do like the more flamboyant colors, so I do like it. But it is done really well, and it's painted really sharply. Sculpt is also very nice. I gotta say, though, and since I'll just put them right next to each other since we are done with the articulation. Personally, I do like this one in terms of proportions. I don't know, there's something about the one on the left. There's something that's off and I can't put my finger on it. It's probably the torso right here. I think it tapers down too quickly. Which is not to say this is not a good figure, because this one is superior in terms of articulation in almost every joint. So it's a solid figure. Again, couple of gripes here, right? This thing right here is kind of obvious, the knees are kind of strange, and the proportions are weird. I don't know how to describe it. Maybe when I do the comparison I'll be able to articulate what I want to say better. But the design is really cool. I love the boot design, though. Just the legs right here look really, really awesome. And the paint overall looks pretty great. It's pretty sharp and there's a lot of nice shading. So overall, I would say if you are a fan of Jojo and you are considering picking up this particular version, go ahead. If you're trying to choose between the two, it's difficult. This one's a little easier to find now because it just got re-released. This one's going to be a little bit harder. But this one is better in terms of articulation, in terms of like appearance and proportions. I prefer this one personally. If you own Jotaro though, and you're deciding which one to get, let's put them together and see which one matches. Okay, so in my opinion, I feel like this one matches this one better. I mean, it kind of does, obviously, because it's meant for it, but mostly because the muted colors goes better with that one. But I believe this one still can work. It's just a little odder because the color's a little brighter and he's a little darker. Okay. So if you're a fan and you like it, go ahead. It's a pretty solid figure. If you're not a fan of Jojo and you're thinking about getting into this line, though, I would say this is a pretty solid one to start with. It's fantastic articulation, it's pretty decent paint, and it's a pretty... actually, I don't know if it's sold out right now. It might be. So I was going to say that you can find it at a good price, but now I'm not sure. But articulation is very good. Very, very good. Okay, well that pretty much does it for this review though. I'm going to put this guy in some poses at the end, but if you enjoyed this video, feel free to give me a thumbs up and subscribe for more. Alright guys, thanks for watching.